Hey guys, so today we're going to be doing lesson 3.6 for 5th grade. It's called decimal subtraction. Now, before spring break, I had told you guys that this lesson was going to be easy breezy for you guys because it's the same thing as addition, except that we're subtracting. So as long as you remember the things that we did for addition, I know it's been a while, but then you'll be okay for this lesson. So let's get started. All right, it says we're going to be using base 10 blocks. I don't have them. You don't have them. We don't normally use them. So I'll explain all of this to you, and then you guys just follow along with me, okay? So it says, A, use base 10 blocks to find 84 hundredths minus 56 hundredths, and it says to model it. So if I were going to model it, what it would look like would be sticks, right? Because sticks are tenths. So it would be 8 tenths. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 with 4 circles. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And then minus, we're going to subtract 5, 6. So what they're asking you in that little question is, do you need to regroup to subtract? We're going to find out. All they're asking us is, do we need to borrow? Okay. So what we would do would be that we would take away 5 of these little sticks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These guys are going to go away. Okay. And now we need to take away 6 of the bubbles. Now we only have 4 bubbles. So what they're asking is, again, do we need to regroup? Yes, we do. We need to borrow. What we would need to do is break one of these off because these are tenths. We're going to convert that into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We already took away 4. We needed to take away 6. So we need to take away 2 more. And now we're left with 1, 2. So 0.2. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there you go. Okay. Now, if we do it the quote unquote normal way, then what we would do would be we would line up our decimals. Okay. So we would have 0.84 minus 0.56. Notice that my decimals are lined up right there, okay? I can't do this if my decimals are not lined up, and that's what I was telling you that we need to remember is that you need to have your decimals lined up in order for this to work, okay? So if we do this, see, same thing. We can't do that right away, so we have to borrow, okay? So we're gonna take away from the 8. It turns into a 7. This turns into a 14, okay? Now, 6 minus 14 gives us 8. And then 5 minus 7 gives us 2. We carry down our decimal. And let me move the camera. You can see our answers are the same, okay? So what you would do would be record the difference. 84 hundredths minus 56 hundredths is 28 hundredths. So it says, draw conclusions. What if you remove the tenths first and then the hundredths? Explain how you would regroup. For that one, all they're looking for is that you would still regroup. I mean, you would still have to borrow. It doesn't matter. We would still run out of bubbles or lines or circles or whatever you want to think of for that. And then for number 2, synthesize. If 2 decimals are both less than 1, what do you know about the difference between them? Well, all they're saying is that it'll never be over 1, right? Because if you're subtracting, then yeah, it'll never be over 1. What you're gonna do right there is you're just gonna write a smiley face, okay? If you don't do the smiley face, you're not gonna get all the credit, all right? So make sure that you're still following directions even from home. All right, let's look at the second one. It says, again, you can use a quick picture. I'm gonna show you how to do the picture and then I'll show you the other way, okay? So it says, use a quick picture to model 2 and 82 hundredths minus 1 and 47 hundredths. And it says subtract the hundredths. So let's do that. Okay, So now that I've erased the board, we're gonna do the second page, okay? It says make connections. Again, I'm gonna do the picture first, and then we'll do it the way that I usually teach you, okay? But for some of you, you understand the pictures, and then some of you, you don't. So I'll do it both ways, and then you guys can decide, all right? So it says, step 1, use a quick picture to model 2 and 82 hundredths minus 1 and 47 hundredths. And then it says subtract the hundredths. So we're gonna start with modeling, okay? We're starting off with 2 and 82 hundredths. So a 2 is gonna be big blocks, okay? So it's gonna be like this, 1, 2, okay? And then we're gonna need 8 lines. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, okay? And then 2 little bubbles for the hundredths. I'll do them over here. 1, 2, okay? Now it says to subtract the hundredths. We're gonna do the hundredths first. So we need to subtract 7 hundredths. We only have 2. So does that mean that it says right there, are there enough hundredths to remove? No. So we're gonna have to regroup. What we do with regrouping is we take one of these guys, we break it off, and we turn it into 10, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now remember, we already took away 2, so we need to take away 5 more. Boom, goodbye. Hundredths are done. Now it says subtract the tenths. We have 4 tenths that we need to subtract. Are there enough? Well, let's count. We have 5, 6, 7. There are plenty. We can definitely subtract, okay? So let's take away 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Goodbye, y'all. And it says, are there enough to subtract? Yes, so we're gonna subtract. So now we're going to say, it says, draw a quick picture of your answer, then record. What your picture is going to look, oh, and then sorry, I forgot, that was my bad, is that we need to also subtract the ones. So we're gonna take away 1 box and say goodbye. So what are we left with, okay? We're left with this box, so I'm gonna redraw it. Okay, I'm left with 1 box. I'm left with 1, 2, 3 sticks, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bubbles. Okay, so if I look at this in numbers, what this means is that this is a 1, right? So it's 1 and, that's the decimal, 3 sticks, so 3, and then 5 bubbles. And we did that in the first lesson. I don't know if you guys remember or not. We did this in the first lesson where you guys had to look at the squares, the lines, and the bubbles, and you guys had to say what the number was in, I guess, normal numbers, if you wanted to think of it that way. So anyway, we already did that. So let me show you now how to do this the just normal number way, okay? We have 2 and 82 hundredths. Minus 1 and, notice I made sure that my decimals were lined up. I know that we don't have graph paper, okay, but you still need to make sure that your numbers are lined up, all right? If not, this is not gonna work. And you know what? I'm sure that we can find some kind of resource for you guys to do graph paper online. I will put that on my to-do list, okay? So we have 1 and 47 hundredths, okay? Let's subtract. So right here, same thing as here, we figured out that we're gonna have to borrow, all right? So we take from our 8, it turns into a 7. This turns into a 12, all right? 7 minus 12 gives us 5, okay? 4, take away from the 7, gives us 3. Don't forget, carry down your decimal and then subtract. It gives us 1. I'm going to move this over here so that way you guys can see our answers match. It doesn't matter however you do it. Remember, I just care that you get the right answer, right? And as long as it works for you every single time. All right, 5th grade, you can go ahead and review this video, watch it as many times as you want. Just make good use of it. And if you need anything, y'all can always text me. All right, keep it real, y'all. Bye. Okay, Now, for what we need to skip or what we are not doing, all right? I'm going to do another portion just for your parents right after this, all right? But guess what? I have a surprise for you. The only thing that you guys have to do in your lesson today is the share and show. Do not do the back page, all right? Don't do the back page. Got it? Got it? Don't do the back page. Okay. All right, a quick hello to my parents. If you're here watching this, that way you can see how we did our math. Hola a todos nuestros padres, saludos que me están viendo en YouTube para repasar la lección. I'm going to be doing this part bilingual since I have a lot of parents that are bilingual or they understand English more than Spanish. Voy a hacer esta porción bilingüe porque tengo muchos padres que entienden inglés o español más que el otro idioma. And that way you guys can see how we did our lesson as a quick review, and you guys can help your kids as well. Entonces voy a hacer esta porción para ustedes como padres para que ustedes puedan repasar y hacer todo como condensado para ellos. The biggest thing from this lesson is that the kids just have to make sure that their decimal points are lined up, okay? Which means that their decimals are in the same place. La parte más importante para esta lección es que ellos vean que sus decimales están en la misma línea. Okay? Si no hacen eso, entonces no va a funcionar nada. The kids don't really like the base 10 blocks, which is why I don't really use them. I can explain them to you if you would like, if you see that your child really likes it and maybe they're not understanding all of it. But I'm just going to show you the quote-unquote normal way that we all learned how to do it. Yo sé que los niños no les gustan usar esos cuadritos y los palitos y las burbujitas porque es poco complicado para ellos, pero para algunos a lo mejor funciona más que para otros y eso es por eso es que lo hago siempre las dos maneras. Si usted quiere entender eso, entonces por favor mándame un texto y me encantaría explicarlo para ustedes, ¿ok? Uno en uno. Pero por ahora les voy a enseñar cómo hacerlo en la manera que nos enseñaron a nosotros en la escuela. So for the first problem, it says 84 hundredths minus 56. Okay, so we're going to do 0.84. And I told them the biggest thing for them to remember is that their decimal place is in the same place. Sometimes it helps them if you put the 0, so that way they can see, oh, there's a number here, the decimal, and then this. Para esto, siempre aquí, como pueden ver, tiene que estar en la misma línea. Digo que algunas veces poner el 0 en el frente les ayuda para ver que, ok, hay un número, el decimal, y luego todos los otros números. And then the next number, 56 hundredths, okay? And then we're just subtracting like normal. Solo están encontrando la diferencia normalmente, ¿ok? Aquí no se puede, you can't hear, so you have to borrow. Tienen que agarrar de allí. Esto sería un 8, this is an 8, and this is a 2. Y luego, siempre enseño que deberían de solo bajar el decimal. I always teach them to just drop down the decimal, and then there you go, okay? And then for the second one, para el segundo, the same thing, la misma cosa. The decimal has to be in the same place. El decimal está en el mismo lugar. And then you just subtract like normal. Solo encuentran la diferencia normalmente. Okay. That's a 12. Es un 12. Lo siento por mi manuscrita. I'm sorry for my really bad handwriting right now. Okay. And then again, bring it down. I do the arrow for the kids so that way they can physically see we are bringing down the decimal, and just as a check that their decimals are lined up. Yo hago esta flechita para enseñarles que deberían de solo bajar el decimal, no tienen que contar espacios, nada así. Y algunas veces se los hago desde acá para que vean si sus decimales están en línea. And then subtract. And here are our answers. Y ahí están las respuestas. Okay. Again, as always, parents, I'm always available via text. We can always FaceTime, Skype, Zoom, whatever, so that way we can sit down and figure this out. All right. Como siempre, yo estoy disponible para ustedes en texto, correo electrónico. Si quieren, podemos hacer FaceTime, WhatsApp, lo que sea para explicarles esto más en detalle. Okay. Thank you so much for your time. Gracias por su tiempo. Peace and blessings. Paz y bendiciones.